This is Jesse from Stick to Your Guns. You're watching Loud TV. Merci. Wonderful. I get to, I don't have to live through that insane circus of an election that we have going on right now in the States. So I get to kind of ignore that. Not that it's something that should be ignored, but it's not something that I want to participate in. So it's, you know, which some people might think that that's irresponsible, but I have my reasons for not wanting to participate. So I just get to live there and kind of just turn a blind eye. You know, it is for me. I will die there. That's where I'll be buried. That's where my mother is, and she's the center of my universe. And so I go there often. It's a great place to vacation. And it was a great place to grow up. I'm glad I grew up there. But, you know, I need, for me and where I am in my life right now, I need something more than beautiful weather. Because beautiful weather is great, but I need more. You know, and it's, I've had some pretty terrible days in beautiful weather, so that doesn't solve all of life's problems, you know. So I decided to move to Canada when I met a girl, and we had dated for 6 years, and we recently decided to kind of go our separate ways. But I'm still up there, and I love Montreal. I love the city. I love everything about it. So I like where I am right now. Yeah, it was about 3 weeks. It was really good. A lot of the bands, I mean, it was a tour that we got to choose exactly who we wanted to go on tour with, and that's kind of a rare thing that all the bands that we wanted were available, and so it was awesome. And we hadn't toured the States in a little while. It was too long, so it was good to go back and do that. You know, we were getting kind of restless we wanted to release new music, and we had a few songs, and we really debated in our minds, like, okay, EPs don't really get a lot of attention. So, and we felt the songs that we had were really strong, and so we said, okay, well, do we just wait and try to do a full-length record, or do we just release this EP? And we said, you know what, fuck it, let's do the EP and just try to get as much attention on it as possible. And honestly, the reaction has been crazy. It charted, it made the Billboard charts, which for an EP, for a band like us, that's pretty crazy, you know. And so we weren't expecting that, and it was cool. It was, you know, the reaction's been very strong, and so I'm glad we decided to do it. Yeah. No, this time wasn't with John. This time we produced with a buddy of mine from Toronto in Canada. That's where we recorded it. His name's Derek Hoffman, and he's a brilliant producer, and he's just. It was an amazing experience. We did it in about 4 or 5 days, and then we were done. Yeah, very quick, very short. Yeah, we just signed with them, and Jake, who is the owner of Pure Noise, you know, he's always been such a great friend to the band, even when we were with other labels, and he always made us feel like we were a part of the Pure Noise family, even though we weren't technically signed to the label. And so, you know, it seemed like a very natural forward step. Normally, if you sign with a record label, you're going, okay, well, I'm being fucked, but how do I get fucked the least, And so you kind of get, after being a band as long as we've been, you kind of get jaded, or you get bitter, and you start going like, whatever. And Pure Noise, man, they gave us what we wanted. There was no questions, and they've been so supportive of us. So it's been an awesome experience. Like, it kind of came out of nowhere, and it's exactly what we needed. There's a certain standard, and it becomes, and that's what sucks, is that bands don't really question these things. We didn't, and the standard, that all that does is solidify the standard more, and then it takes someone like Jake to come along and say, we're gonna flip this thing on its head, and we're gonna do it a different way. And so, it's not really any fault of Century Media or any fault of Sumerian. It's just, it kind of just becomes, it is what it is type of situation, and then Jake comes along and starts offering bands really fair deals and starts being very, very nurturing, and it's good. The music's very angry music, so if it wasn't, there would be, that would be weird, I guess. But yeah, it's very, we've always been a band that's tried to be forward-thinking politically and forward-thinking socially, and try to move with the world, and beliefs are a funny thing, because if you're not careful, a belief can keep you in one spot. And the world is always growing and always changing. But sometimes if this belief keeps you here, the world's gonna leave you behind. And so what we always try to do is move with the world, and we try to change, because people think, if you change, then you're going back on what you said, and we need to be able to, that needs to be a good thing. That needs to be okay. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to contradict yourself, because when you're contradicting yourself, that means you're willing to learn and you're willing to move forward, which a lot of people, that's scary for a lot of people, you know what I mean? Because we're very scared as human beings. We're scared, we're fickle, we're petty, and we search for meaning. And a lot of the times we crave meaning so much that we grab onto something, good or bad. And, I guess the goal for us is to try to always keep an open mind and, kind of look at everything from every angle, and not just look at one thing through one set of eyes, Optimistic, I would think, but you need both. It's the laws of duality. You can't have day without night. You can't have good without bad. You can't, there's a quote from Rumi that I love, and I've tried to live my life by it, and he says, beyond all ideas of right doing and wrong doing, there's a field. I'll meet you there, and I think that that's beautiful, because we also get into this idea that there are such thing as good people and bad people. And what happens is when we label people good and we label people bad, we get it in our mind that that person is a good person and that they can't do bad. And same thing for people who are bad. We label people bad people. For example, in the prison system in America, we think that those are bad people and they can never change. And I think that that's very sad, because I think people need a second chance, third chance, fourth chance, because we're all doing the best we can, you know what I mean? And we all have been born into different circumstances, and I don't think it's fair to say that's a bad person and they will always be a bad person. It's irresponsible, it's dangerous, and it isn't the kind of world that I want to live in, one that's loving and compassionate. And so I think we need to look at people as people, and sometimes they do great things, sometimes they do bad things, but people are capable of doing both, And I think it's important for people to realize that. I come from, even talking about positive things, it gets me frustrated, it doesn't take much to open your eyes to the world we're living in and find a whole list of things that are wrong, I'm a very emotional person. So when I'm mad, I'm fucking pissed. But when I'm happy, I'm very happy. When I'm sad, I get very sad, things like that. And so I think that's just my personality. But, I'm very frustrated about a lot of things. And so I get to express that way. I get to express that side of me in a positive way through my music. But, I would say I'm not a very pessimistic person, but when it comes to American democracy, I'm very pessimistic, because I believe that of course, I don't like to believe in the lesser of two evils. I don't like to believe in, I'll vote for Hillary because Trump is horrible. if Hillary gets elected president, she's still going to be drone striking children. You see what I'm saying? And I don't think that to me is not acceptable. And so even with what she wants to do for people in America, and I think she's pro-woman, which I think is great. She paints herself as anti-racist. How true is that? I don't know. There's a lot of change that needs to be done in America, but I don't think that we can get there through elections and through a system of voting. I think there needs to be a worldwide consciousness raiser where people need to kind of realize that we don't have enemies, right? We're brothers and sisters. That's actually a fact. That's not even in my opinion. But we build these walls, nationalism, religion, we build up walls between each other to keep this constant turmoil between us. And to me, American democracy or election of any kind just nurtures that feeling of tension and pick a side, and I hate that. But yeah, of course, Donald Trump's a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Like, what an absolute dickhead. And to me, the problem isn't Trump. The problem is that there's a system in place in America where someone like Donald Trump, who deserves to be living in a dumpster, is running for president. That should never be allowed. It should be illegal for someone like Donald Trump to be running to be the president of the United States of America. That's the problem. The system, the whole system needs to be changed. Five weeks of tour in Europe with Architects. We're at day one right now, and then after this, we're off for the rest of the year, and then we head to Australia in January next year, and just keep touring and keep playing music. That's what we love to do, so that's what we're gonna do. Yes, I do think that we're looking to do it in around this time, releasing another full-length record, like a full LP.
You see